I can't think how she knows me. I've hardly ever been up to personnel.
Her desk's by the window, while you're bent over padlocking your front fork. She's got her nose pressed against the glass with steam belching out like a ship's whistle.
I'm sure that's not true.
I know it's hard to believe. Apparently she goes for the scraggy ones. Would you like me to set up a rendezvous?
Well, the problem is I'm rather heavily involved with Debbie at the moment.
OK. The other thing she said was, have you got a brother with the same shaped legs?
I'm afraid not, no.
Then would you mind if she takes a quick Polaroid of yours?
Better get changed.
She gave her word to be very artistic. All you have to do is lie on a leopard skin rug and point your knees at the camera.
I really ought to be.
Just the person I was looking for. Now listen, you might not know this, but there's a guy on the third floor who...
Don't try that rubbish with me. I was peddling gossip when you were knee-high to Edith Piaf.
I don't do gossip. I do wind-ups.
Kid stuff. Anyone can wind Giles up. I could do it sucking a gobstopper with both hands tossing pancakes.
So could I.
The art is to choose someone with a bit more intelligence than a tree frog. Mr. Hope Wynne, for example, or Mr. Copeland.
Oh, anyone can do that.
Of course, a person of my experience could wind everyone in this whole department up in a single day.
So could I.
Rubbish.
No, it's not. I'll prove it.
Oh, no, you won't, because I'll be finished before you even get started.
Joyce.
Because let me tell you, when I get going, there's nothing can stop me.
Joyce.
What?
I've just got to ask a small favour.
You are not staying at my house ever again.
No, I don't want to.
I'll never get that sofa back into its proper shape.
I only slept on it.
Well, you're too heavy. It's got a dip in the middle like Cheddar Gorge.
Well, anyway, about this favour. You know I'm having a thing with Laura Haylock.
I'm so pleased that turned out well.
Yeah. Well, we all know that Cheryl's a great scrub nurse. I mean, the best there is. I mean, let's be honest. If there's anybody as fantastically good as she is, I would like to know who it is.
So?
When I'm giving anaesthetics, can we dump her and let Laura scrub up?
Dump?
Well, you know what I mean? It'd just be nicer for me.
I take it you've agreed this with Sheila?
Well, no, but she won't mind. Joyce, I know this is incredible, but those two get on like a house on fire. Sheila's been really nice.
Yes, incredible.
Anyway.
By the way, isn't it a shame about Mr. Hope Wynne? You know, retiring at the end of this month.
Retiring?
And going to raise cattle in Argentina.
George!
It's all over the hospital.
Good God.
Yo, Gerald!
Laura!
Hi.
I hear Jonathan's moved in with you.
Yes. Gets around, doesn't he? First you, then Joyce, and now me.
Yes, I think as far as romance is concerned, we can scrub Joyce out. She lost her heart 20 years ago to a school teacher named Alec and a large bag of donuts.
Actually, Jonathan's got an enormous appetite. I don't know if he did this with you, but every morning when we're lying in bed, just getting our breath back, he suddenly digs me in the ribs and says, "Come on, how do you fancy a big dollop of corned beef hash?"
No, he never did that with me.
What about your Paco?
No, Paco owns a restaurant. He resents eating anything that could be shoved in front of a customer for £26 plus VAT. Between you and me, when he gets his breath back, he just starts again.
Yes, Jonathan's just the same. I don't know if he did this with you, but last Sunday morning...
So, tell me about this rally driving that you get up to.
Oh, that? Well, there's not much point in taking Jonathan. He's useless anywhere near a car.
Yes, I know.
Except in the back seat. I don't know if he did this with you, but one day... Oh,
Hiya.
hey.
Oh, no, you don't. Come on, out.
What?
Laura and I are having a jolly good chinwag, and we don't want a great lolloping lump like you butting in.
You know, it's great that you two get on so well.
Well, of course we do. We're big mates.
Because I've just arranged with Joyce that Laura should be our permanent scrub nurse from now on.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You don't mind?
Oh, what could be nicer? All three of us in the same room all day.
She's great, isn't she?
And so are you.
Yeah, well...
Sheila, I think you shouldn't bring these in here, but they are wrapped in cellophane.
They're not for me.
There is a car.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we'll be off.
No, don't go. Stay, have a coffee. I'm afraid there were no filters, so I had to improvise with a couple of swabs. No, today I love you more than yesterday, but less than tomorrow. Typical Spaniard. With love from Paxo.
Paxo?
Excuse me a moment.
It's not funny. Well, at least he sent her flowers.
Yes.
Congratulations.
What for?
I've just heard. I expect with 3 grown-up boys you're hoping for a girl this time.
Yo, Cheryl!
What is the matter with you people? I said to put Paco, P-A-C-O. No, it is not an unusual name. Pa Fabian Lagerquist is an unusual name, and I dare say you would have spelt that, Lonnie Donegan. No, I do not want another large bunch with your compliments. Yes, tell him I'll lance it this afternoon, but you better warn everyone not to have a large lunch.
Argentina.
What?
My wife hates cows, except in small portions with broccoli. And even then she requires proof that it's British. And as for breeding the damn thing, she found it thoroughly distasteful bringing up our own children. And what's more, why should I want to retire? I mean, work for me is not just the satisfaction of a job well done. It's a place to go to when Grace gets out the pickling vinegar. If anyone mentions this to you, I do hope you'll make this very clear.
Count on me, George.
Don't think I'm beaten yet. Yes, OK, you've got off to a reasonable start with 2 rather childish rumours.
3.
3?
My dear fellow, you should have told us all long ago.
Sorry?
Good heavens, in this day and age, no one minds that kind of thing. Good Lord, they've even got discotheques, special places where you chaps can all go and dance with each other.
Cheryl.
Yes, he is. Hang on a sec. Giles? It's Richard and Jeremy in the Pathland.
Must be nice turning up for work and someone rushes in with a massive bouquet of flowers.
Oh, it's hardly a surprise anymore. That's Paco. I remember once...
Mind you, Jonathan does have his moments. I don't know if he did this with you, but...
Yes, he did. Isn't that unbelievable? Him doing it with me all that time, and now there he is doing it with you. But he had to stop during the winter because you couldn't get fresh rhubarb and his goggles steamed up. Still, there you are. Swab, please.
Jonathan's always saying you've got a marvellous sense of humour.
Oh, yes, I could slice pork with it. Now, Michael, I am stamping as hard as I can on this diathermy pedal, and there's not a damn thing happening.
You're stamping on Giles' foot.
You sure?
Positive.
Nothing showing up this end.
Well, it's all these blasted rumours flying around. One of them involves Giles, and consequently he's got a lot to think about.
Why?
He's been invited to take part in a drag show.
Him?
Well, they can't all be Shirley Bassey, can they? There's bound to be 1 or 2 that look like Norman Bates' mother.
Trying to think of a way of saying no without hurting anyone's feelings.
Well, just tell him you'd best frocks at the cleaners.
It's not funny. I mean, this place has always been a hotbed of gossip. But when I hear that Joyce is pregnant, I start to smell a rat.
Yes, mind you, if the worst comes to the worst, you'd look gorgeous in apricot.
Luckily, there's nothing yet going round about me. Is there?
No.
Oh.
Just the usual.
What does he mean?
I should like to make a small but rather important announcement. The abundant and luxurious hair growing under this cap has always been there and was never, previous to a transplant, growing in my armpits. Thank you.
What did he mean by just the usual?
Now, peach would be nice, but you'll have a devil of a job getting a handbag to match. Could we get that off the histology?
There can't be only 16. Count them again.
Is it anything to do with me sometimes wearing silk underwear?
Is that one of yours?
Don't be ridiculous. It doesn't matter to me which scrub nurse I work with.
It seems like Jonathan can't bear me to be out of his sight.
Yes, Paco's just the same.
Excuse me, telephone.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. Hola, cariño. Sí, son muy bonitas, gracias.
I believe it's Derek in the mortuary.
Sí, yo también, mucho. Well, I bet that's put a bit of life into it.
So it's true then?
What?
Well, there's a rumour that Derek and you spend more time than necessary over the slab.
If I don't get some lunch soon, I'll collapse. What do you want to see us for anyway?
How do I know?
Right, thank you all for sparing a moment. As Director of Surgery, there is something I would like to clear up.
Yes, I'm sorry, one hesitates to interrupt what I'm sure will be a tedious and monumentally long-winded lecture, but I have the Path Lab on the line asking if Giles would mind wearing a headscarf because the blonde wig has turned green in the wash.
I'll call them back.
Yes, I got the impression he loved the idea. Thank you so much.
Now, there has been an inordinate amount of gossip going around, some of which is just the usual, and some of which is totally untrue.
I would like to know what you mean by just the usual.
Oh, you know. Anyway, I think I'm right in saying that everyone here has a sense of humour. In some cases unused for 25 years. But there are limits, and all these ugly rumours have got to stop. Mr. Hopewin is not retiring, so that's knackered a few hopes and dreams. Mr. Copeland's hair was neither transplanted from his armpit, shaved off a yak, nor borrowed from a large collection in the Path Lab. As for my spending long hours in the mortuary, I simply go there to apologise to Mr. Hopewin's patients. So I hope that has put paid to all these rumours.
Excuse me, there's...
Yes. Now, I thought I knew who was responsible until somebody told me she was expecting triplets. I have no doubt, however, that someone is pulling our collective leg, and I will not stand for it. As for this pile of junk about a plan to close down the hospital, I will not even dignify it with comment. Get out of the way!
It's her, you know. One way or another, it's her.
No, good Lord, yes.
This Debbie you're going out with, it is a woman, is it?
A plan to close down the hospital.
You disappoint me, Cheryl. I mean, there are some things you just don't joke about.
I didn't start that one. It must have been one of yours.
It certainly was not. Oh, my God. It must be true.
Paco, of course there's nothing the matter. I just phoned to see how you were. We always phone to see how I am. Although I have noticed you don't do it quite so much as before. Well, what does it matter? Some people like their octopus well done. Well, just change the menu to diced, smoked, crispy octopus. Paco, yes, I love you too, but...
Sheila, it's 2 o'clock. Everyone's waiting.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That was Paco again. Between you and me, I'm beginning to find it embarrassing.
What?
Well, he keeps phoning me up all the time. You must have noticed.
No.
Oh, yes, it's non-stop. Como estas, mi amor, te amo, plus 1 or 2 things I couldn't possibly repeat to you.
Why not? I haven't got a clue what the first bit meant.
Well, you know, there must be times that telephone glows like the afterburner of a jump jet. Oh! If that's him again.
Look, I'll get it. Theatres. Yes. Yeah, it's him. Unless there's someone else who called you my sexy English rose.
Hola, cariño. Now, I know you miss me, but you really must stop... Derek, get off this phone. No, I told you, I thought I was speaking to someone else. Now, you really must...
Derek in the mortuary?
I have not been toying with your affections.
If they close down the hospital, I'll be unemployed. How on earth is a woman like me in her late 30s ever going to find another job?
What about me? I'm a young person just starting out in life.
Not that my age is a problem.
I'm still practically a teenager.
I mean, a lot of people find it hard to believe I'm 38.
It's all right for you. You've had a good innings. If we were on a desert island and someone came to rescue us, but they only had space in their boat for 1 person, you'd say, no, I've had my life. Let Cheryl go.
I would not.
As I sailed off into the sunset, you'd pick up a gun and blow your head off. But you'd be smiling, Because you know you've done the right thing.
Now, you listen to me.
Oh, sister, I believe you're scrubbing up my list this afternoon.
What does it matter? As far as I'm concerned, we might all as well pack up and go home now.
I wouldn't dream of such a thing. I'm playing tennis in 15 minutes. Anyway, my registrar
They're
will be...
closing down the hospital.
Ah, yes, very droll.
It's true.
Absolutely. Now, I shall have a bleeper in my shorts. I shall have a mobile phone in my kit bag. If by any chance I'm being slaughtered, you will receive an hurried, breathless grunt down your telephone, after which I expect to be called back for an urgent operation.
Have you seen this?
Ah, yes. One long groan, however, means that I will require an ambulance myself. Thank you.
Why won't he believe us?
Well, it is only a rumour. I mean, someone puts up an anonymous message. Maybe it's not true.
Ah. Stone me, this place is turning into Kew Gardens. Sheila, you've got another bunch.
Actually, they're for Giles.
From Tim in geriatrics. He's having more luck with blokes than he ever had with women. I'll take them and pass them on.
Sheila, there's something very urgent I've got to talk to you about.
Go on, then.
Not here, in the loo.
Why is it women find lavatories the perfect place to conduct business? Whenever I heard that Margaret Thatcher was having talks with Edwina Curry, it conjured up an awful picture.
Oh, George, I expect you've heard I shan't be here this afternoon, so...
They're for Giles.
I'm very sweet of you.
My dear fellow, you're not really going to play tennis with Graham Lynch.
Yes, I thought I might. It's a glorious day out there. What could be nicer than leisurely patting a ball about while the odd cloud skates across the sky?
Graham Lynch has played at Wimbledon.
Neil, when he hits the ball, it's like a V2 rocket. Especially when it slams into your chest.
The man takes his tennis very seriously.
If you're going to play with that thing, you'll end up with a broken wrist and a handful of splinters.
Nonsense.
Where did you get that piece of paper saying they were closing down the hospital? I mean, it was unsigned, so it can't be an official announcement. I rang Mary upstairs and she doesn't know anything about it. The thing is, and I have to make an admission here, which I hope will go no further, Cheryl and I have been... Shh, don't say a word.
Jonathan was wondering if the cryoprobe's been cancelled.
No, I'll be along in a second.
Fine.
Cheryl and I have been starting a few hard... Cheryl and I have been starting...
Fed up with being nice to that damned woman!
Who?
Jonathan's permanently pleasant piece of rumpo. Every morning she comes in here smiling brightly and makes it perfectly clear that they have been devastating her duvet since 10 o'clock the previous night. It is perfectly obvious that their relationship is based on nothing more than continuous carnal knowledge.
Yeah.
Who'd settle for that? Nothing.
He's gone off the boil, hasn't he?
Who?
Paco.
What makes you say that?
Because when your relationship was nothing but continuous romper, you didn't give a damn what Jonathan did.
My relationship with Paco is based on a meeting of minds. If any other bits meet occasionally, that's just a bonus.
So everything's all right then?
Couldn't be better.
Good. Because there's something very important I've got to discuss with you.
Come in.
Oh, please forgive me, but I was standing around out there and people were beginning to get suspicious, and also I wasn't quite sure how long you were going to be, and I've got to correct a little girl's bat ears.
If he'd said that in Hindustani, I'd have had more idea of what he was talking about.
I forgot to give you your refund.
What refund?
The young lady in the florist said they put the wrong name on your flowers this morning and they'd like to return the money they've been paid.
What was this very important thing you wanted to discuss with me, then?
Jonathan asked me...
Yes, all right, I'm coming!
Thanks for warning us. Joyce! It's true. Mr. McCafferty just phoned. Upstairs know all about
Who's
it.
Mr. McCafferty?
The Porters' Union representative. Apparently upstairs are keeping it hush-hush because they're afraid we'll all go on strike.
Then clearly upstairs don't realise that we're all dedicated members of the caring profession. What else did Mr. McCafferty say?
They're going on strike Monday.
We better warn everyone. Now, you tell Mr. Hopin and Dr. Haslam. I'll tell Sheila.
What about Mr. Copeland?
Oh, he's off somewhere playing tennis.
They're keeping it all hush-hush. It's going to happen very soon.
The whole hospital.
They're closing everything. casualty, theatres, all the wards.
Well, thank God for that.
Pardon?
Well, it's a dump, isn't it? If you ask me, the sooner they chuck everybody out and board up the doors, the better.
No, I'm not winding you up.
Do you know what I'd do? I'd stick a few ton of jelly-gnat in the basement and wham, bam, whoopee!
Michael, tell him it's not a joke.
I wouldn't stick it in the basement. I'd stick it upstairs.
Oh, God, yes.
Them and their computers.
Wallop!
Oh, my God.
Oh, Derek, I love chrysanthemums. It's you I'd like to prune the buds off with a machete.
Sheila, I've got terrible news.
I have not got the hots for you, something chronic. Who told you that?
It can wait.
Geriatrics, paediatrics, everything.
Well, not to worry. I shall be in Argentina, steadying our stud bull as Grace tackles it with a branding iron.
No one believes me.
Well, it's your fault.
Why?
Because you've got a reputation as a rumour mongerer.
Me?
Well, all right, I have mongered the odd one or two.
Well, I'm sorry. No one's going to believe the hospital's closing down until you tell everyone what you've been up to.
Me?
And I'll do the same.
Oh, you're not just saying that.
I promise. So basically, it was all just a stupid game. But Joyce was so good at it that before I got going, she'd spread all these awful, terrible rumours.
Cheryl!
I knew it was her. Every blasted time, it's her.
Sheila!
All right, Joyce, I'm impressed. It takes a big woman to stand up in front of all these people and apologise.
Oh. Well, I felt I ought to.
Good for you.
Yeah, well done, Joyce.
Well, it wasn't just her. I started most of them. And I'm very sorry.
And I'm the biggest liar on the face of the earth. Do you realise that I have been sexually harassed all day by a man that I would not touch with a scaffold pole? A man who rings me with a phone in one hand, half a brain in the other, and even less between his ears. I am the only woman in the history of the world who has received flowers from a mortuary.
Sheila, we've owned up to everything.
Yes, and like you said, it took a lot of guts to do.
No, it didn't! It took one bogus notice in the hospital was closing down.
But Mr. McCafferty phoned. He warned Cheryl.
Sorry, I'm late. Been flushing out a sinus.
Go on, George, do it for him.
Huh?
Your Mr. McCafferty voice.
Huh?
In case you didn't know, Mr. Hopewin went to school in Scotland. Go on, George.
My good woman, I left when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, but you can still do the accent.
Not that well, old boy. I tend to sound like an Australian.
Well, you convinced them.
When? George, you did phone. You promised.
Then who did?
Mr. McCafferty.
Oh, my God. What's his number?
They've gone home by now. They'll knock off at 1:30.
We'll have to go on strike.
You're a nurse.
I don't care. One out, all out.
Well, what's his home number?
How do I know?
Ah, Giles. You weren't at the meeting.
No, I just had to nip down to pathology.
Sheila,
Yeah?
I have been trying to ring this hospital every 10 minutes for the last 3 hours.
Neil, I told you he was good.
Rubbish. Few lucky lobs, that's all.
Yes?
Now, we lived together for quite a few months. And then there's this business with Paco, and I know you're not too happy about me and Laura, but we're still good mates, aren't we? So if there's anything you feel you want to tell me...
Oh, sister, sister. Terrible news. They're closing down the hospital.